June 6th, 2019. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 183 of You Can Bet On That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet On That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
We're back from 360 Vegas Vacation 8. It seems like it was ages ago.
Yeah, it does seem like this week went by really slow.
Wow, I wonder why. Well, anyway.
It's only been a week.
I know. But we're back, so let's talk about our trip. We drove there, and we got there very early. We left my house about 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
right?
4:30 a.m.
Yep. Which was nice, because then we beat all the traffic. We didn't have to, fight any of the rush hour traffic or anything like that.
We sailed through very smoothly.
Yep. And we got there early. We were excited because you had an early check-in.
Right. They'd actually called and told me I had an early check-in.
Yeah. So we got there, and your room was not ready.
No.
So,
which I didn't expect, because I'm thinking, we're getting there on a Sunday.
Right. You had an early check-in in that it was covered.
Right.
You didn't have to pay any extra.
Right.
But if the room wasn't ready, the room wasn't ready.
Yeah, because I'm thinking it was a suite, and I'm thinking the people before, they were probably there Friday and Saturday, right?
Yeah.
They're probably going home Sunday. They're not getting up when we get there, like 9 a.m. They're probably just getting up, if anything.
So I had just gotten up. I didn't shower or anything. I'd gotten ready the night before. So I was, hoping to jump into the shower as soon as we checked in, but no. So we had to find something to do for a few hours. We decided to play some craps.
Yeah.
First off, we stayed at Bally's, and I tweeted this out. It was relatively early in the morning, but the baseball games were about to start, and the Indy 500 was about to start.
The Indy 500 was just starting.
Yeah, in fact, we ran to the sports book as soon as we got there to make some bets.
Got our bets down like literally seconds before the green flag.
It's true. We didn't realize how close it was. And then we were heading out to check the situation at Bally's. Maybe we'd play craps there or something. And I looked, and the TV screens in the blackjack pit, one of them was on Star Wars, the original episode 4,
yeah,
and another was on Harry Potter,
the first one.
And meanwhile, the Indy 500 was going, and the baseball games were going.
Probably those blackjack people were very interested in Star Wars and Harry Potter.
Maybe they'd never seen him. They really wanted to know what happened.
Right? Yeah. No. Find out, and maybe they had bets.
Yeah, maybe they had some bets on it. And so we went over to Planet Hollywood and played there. Boy, we met a lot of people at Planet Hollywood. A lot of people, we tweeted out that we were there, and a lot of people stopped by.
People.
Really before the event was officially starting. So, eventually we checked into our room, and then we went to the first meetup that was over at Mirage and met most people we had already met before. We said hello to them. One of the people we had not met before was Vegas Bun Boy. In fact, this was one of the reasons we wanted to go on this trip, was to meet him. So we finally met him and his wife, Christy. And you had a little present for him.
Yeah, I brought him a Dr. Mike statue to replace the one that was destroyed by Adam Travel Fanboy in an earlier episode.
Yep.
And so now he has a new Dr. Mike trophy.
Yep. So
my wife made it.
Yeah, she did a good job of it.
She did a good job, yeah. Looks just like me, actually.
Yep. And then the group, it's funny. We played there a little bit at Mirage, Mike. I think I'm off Mirage.
Yes,
there's something about Mirage now that I just do not enjoy playing there.
No, we did not have a good experience, and we haven't in the past.
No, and it had nothing to do with winning or losing. It was just, I don't know, the atmosphere and the vibe.
It's a weird vibe there.
It's too bad.
Yeah.
But everybody went downtown. We did not go on the shuttle that they had going, from the Strip to downtown. But we met everybody down there. It was funny. They were going to meet up at El Cortez, and we were ready to meet them there. But then I got word that everybody had moved over to Main Street Station. So we started heading down to Main Street Station, and then we got word that, it's kind of moved over to the Cal. So that's where we actually met up with pretty much everybody. Now, we never play at the Cal, mostly because they only have double odds.
Right. Double odds, and, it's kind of a low roller.
It's funny, isn't it, of the, downtown casinos and downtown, so many, right across the street, their sister property has 20 times odds.
Yeah, it's funny because the range is significant.
Yeah, it really is.
And people have asked us before, why would you play at a double odds place when you can play at a 20 odds place? And we have an answer for that.
Yeah, we do. It's because everybody was there.
Everybody was there, exactly.
We played some Keno first.
Yes,
before we started playing. Made some Keno bets. And I noticed, I don't know if we talked about this, but I noticed that there was an advertisement there for a Keno tournament.
Right.
We had talked about, hey, you never see Keno tournaments anymore. And in fact, listener Ken actually emailed us a flyer from the Cal. He had noticed it too, that there was. So Keno tournaments are still alive.
They're making a comeback. Seriously, I saw a lot of Keno action. There's Keno at Bally's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
nice.
We played overnight Keno at Bally's.
It was nice to finally get some Keno in.
Yeah, you play a 40-game ticket when you go to bed. You wake up in the morning.
You see, hey, I played $40 and I got back $14.
Yeah, right.
That worked out great. So, yes, we started playing at the craps table, and pretty soon, mostly people from 360 Vegas Vacation 8 came. We took over the table.
Right.
And it worked out good. Karen and Mark stepped up to the table.
And Karen, and somebody, was it you that said, Karen has a reputation for being a good shooter?
I said, Karen, no pressure, but you've got a rep here.
And she did not disappoint.
No, she had a great roll.
She had a very good roll.
And then Mark had a good roll after her.
And Mark had a very good roll right after her. Right, exactly.
So we were doing okay up and down, and there was one woman there who I think she made a couple of points.
She
was
made
back
2
and
points.
forth,
She was directly right to the stick.
Mm-hmm.
So after Karen and Mark had rolled, there were 2 or 3 more shooters, and then there was this woman.
Mm-hmm. She made 2 points, and then in the middle of her roll, she just walked away.
She left.
Right. Now, I took over her spot. I'd been walking around schmoozing and that kind of thing. Yeah. But you were next in line.
Right.
So you took over her role. And just some information for people who may not know, if you take over somebody's role, somebody has decided they just don't want to continue with their role, you can finish it for them, but you still have the option of starting your own role once you seven out the previous person's role, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you took over, and boy, did you have a role.
Wow, it was fairly long.
It was very long, yeah. And that's on top of the points that she already made.
So. Right, yeah, it was a monster roll.
Yeah, everybody was happy with you at the Cal. So that was kind of the big craps meetup win story, when everybody was playing and we all did very well.
And then they asked me, do you want to roll? And I said, no, I was going to pass because I had rolled so long.
Right, and I think Chris, Vegas Bun Boy, was right next to you. He was next to roll,
and I was ready for him to roll, and then people are, no, you got to roll. Keep it up. You got to roll. And of course, it's like, I made a couple numbers and then
it was bad. Your roll was bad.
My roll was bad.
The roll you took over was great. Your roll
I'm good at taking over other people's rolls. Mm-hmm. My rolls are terrible.
Yeah, and that is ROLL or ROLE. You're very good at taking over other people's rolls. So not much after that. We were exhausted by that point, so we just headed back to Bally's and went to bed. But the next morning, of course, we played craps, just FYI. That's what we did, went and played craps. You did not have very much luck with the side bets on this trip. Is that true?
That is very true. Yeah, I think for the most part, the all tall, all small, and the repeaters did not hit, and hard ways were incredibly scarce.
Yeah, so
incredibly scarce.
Rarely did you even have the chance to parlay it, let alone win a parlay.
I think we were at one casino, I can't remember where, and I turned to you, and we had been there about an hour and a half, and I said, not one hard way has come up. And you're like, yeah, that's right.
I had to think about it.
Yeah, and then there are none. An hour and a half, not one hard way. I didn't even ever get a chance to
I don't know if it was an hour and a half, but it was a significant amount of time.
It was a long time. Yeah, well, it was over an hour for sure.
All right, okay. But yeah, it was amazing. It's like, oh my gosh, Mike, you're right. We've been here this whole time. But we did get over to Bellagio, and I did roll the all small tall for you.
Yes.
So that worked out good. That was at a $50 table. I was having to kind of take it easy just to play with you. But
that worked out well.
So that was the one time that the all hit the whole trip. Yeah.
Right.
And we have some other side stories here. Because we could sit here and just say, so then we played here and we won a little bit. And then we played here and we lost a little bit. But that's not terribly interesting. But we do have some other side stories. One was kind of funny. We the eating this trip, we were very smart. We didn't sit down at any restaurants.
No, but we ate a lot.
We ate a lot.
We ate way more than we eat on a normal trip.
Everything was either fast food or we went to that Harrah's food court. That it's not really like a food court. It's more like a food market. You order. It's not really a cafeteria, but kind of like that. You order at different stations and then you pay one thing. Ate there a couple times. But we ate at the food court at Caesar's Palace,
which is very good.
Yeah, it was fine. And you spotted Adam, travel fanboy, about to...
Yeah, he was at Earl of Sandwich standing in line, and we were getting ready to leave, and I saw him over there, and I told Mark, I said, I think I'll surprise Adam.
Yeah, so you waited until Adam had gone up and started to order, was almost done ordering.
Right.
And then what'd you do? You went
went up and said, I'll take care of this. I handed the lady my card, use my points. But it was funny. She kind of looked at me like, who are you?
Yeah, where do you come from? Is this some random act of kindness here? Well, we played at Caesar's Palace for a little while. And at one point, I'm fidgety at the craps table, especially,
really?
When it's the come out roll and you're taking 15 minutes to get all your bets settled. So I'm looking around at the casino. Right behind me, there's an Ultimate Texas Hold'em table. And I'm looking at this guy's hand. He's got 4-8 in his hand. Pretty bad starting hand. But I'm watching the cards come out on the table. At the end, the board was 7, 9, 9, 10, Jack. So his single 8, he completed a straight. Well, he folded his hand. And I thought, I've got to say something to this guy. It was already folded, and I came up behind him. I said, I'm sorry, I hate to eavesdrop, but you folded a straight. And he said, no. And I said, yeah, you had an 8, 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack. And he's kind of, oh. Well, it was nice because they actually let him unfold his hand. They kind of turned it over and, played it out as if he had seen the straight and, made his final bet out there.
Yeah,
so
they paid him.
They paid him. So hats off to Caesars for doing that. And hats off to me for,
for being a nosy body.
Being real nosy, yeah.
Pushing into other people's game.
Yep.
You should always monitor it. And then if it's a mistake in the player's favor, you point that out too to the casino. Hey, excuse me.
But, he didn't have a straight.
Yeah, he did not have a straight. You just stand behind him. I just want a fair game. That's all I want. I just want a fair game.
I learned from my good friend Mike. Anyway, later on that Monday night, we all met up at Ellis Island. By the time we got there, the craps table was pretty full. People were telling us it wouldn't be open yet.
Yeah, we had heard it didn't open till like 7:30 or 8 or something.
And it was this meet and greet, but it's like, okay, let's get up to the craps table. It was kind of nice in that it was a $5 minimum with 10 times odds. So I was basically just doing come bets the whole time, but it drove you crazy.
Yeah.
Because of the max bets.
Yeah. On the prop bets.
Yeah.
The prop bets had super low maximum on the prop bets.
Yeah.
I had a $25 world, a $30 three-way 7, and like a $10 ace deuce. And I think 7 came up, and I said, okay, press that to 90. And he said, you can't.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean I can't? I thought the limit was 300. No, not on these prop bets. It's like 100 total.
Yeah.
And you could only put $25 max on a hard way.
Yeah.
So when I $10 like hard 8 hit, I could only go to 25. I couldn't go to 100.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the most you can win on a hard way there is 225.
Now, one nice thing, though, was that with the 10 times odds,
yes,
you were able to take full odds even if it was above the maximum at the table, which was what, $300 was
which
the max?
Which was $300.
Yeah, so you were able to take,
it was so funny because the dealer, he's apologizing the whole time.
Yeah.
And he's saying, yeah, I don't understand it. I mean, they only let you put a quarter on the hard ways, but you can put $300 on the line and have 3,000 odds behind it. That's okay.
Yeah, that's okay on a bet that they don't have much of a house edge on compared to the 9% house edge over on the hard way.
He's like, I don't know who decided these rules, but that's what they tell us to do.
Yeah.
And it was so weird. Yeah. So, I was making like $50 line bets with like $300-400 odds. Yeah. And they had no problem with that.
Yeah. The crew was very good, or they were very pleasant.
Yeah.
They did have some difficulties with some of the payouts at times. Right. And it was pretty overwhelming for them probably because we, bombarded the table.
Right. They were packed.
But it was nice. We played with listener Julia, who found us there, and she was a little tentative to play the game, but I think we made her feel a little more comfortable at least doing it. We said, you were saying, just make this bad. Yeah. Don't worry if you lose it. I got you covered. So.
Yeah, she walked away a winner.
Yeah, that's good. I walked away a winner too.
I walked away a little bit of a loser.
Okay,
it wasn't
much. It wasn't much. All right.
No. How could it be much? They wouldn't let me bet much.
Well, it was time I decided, okay, I'm going to color up because I wanted to talk to Eric Rosenthal. He was on the other side of the table, and I wanted to talk to him about the bets that he was going to make at the new Circa Sportsbook later in the week. And so I said, can I color up, please? And I signaled to Eric, and he did the same thing, put his chips out there. So the chips sat out there and the dealer's like, I'm really sorry. They just can't color up right now. It's like a shift change. And all the pit bosses and floor, they were all on computer screens.
Yeah.
And it sat there. And finally like, well, forget it. I'm just going to take it to the cashier. I've never been in a situation where I've had to wait for more than maybe, sometimes it's like, okay, we'll get there in a second. Hang out. We're coloring up somebody else, or we've got to fill, or, somebody's buying in. But no, they were just off in their own, area. So I had about 1,000 in chips, mostly green. I said, well, no big deal. I'll just take it up to the cashier. So Eric and we both go up to the cashier. Well, these cashiers, I've never seen this in any other casino. They're behind quite a bit of heavy plastic.
Yeah, it looked like a bank teller where you slide stuff through.
But where you slid through, it was like this curved tray.
Right.
So you couldn't put stacks of chips in there.
No, you just had
they'd
to
spill
dump 'em.
over.
You just had to dump them.
So here, the only time I haven't been able to color up, I've got, dozens and dozens of chips, and I can't even stack them to give them to her. I have to dump them in there, and she has to pull them out. So they're all scattered.
Right.
So she has to go through and stack them again and count them. And, she was very nice, but the one time I've got way too many chips, and I can't just in a nice stack.
Well, it was real obvious that casino is for somebody who's buying in with $100 or $200, and that's so they're going to cash out with 400, and they're not going to have that many chips.
Yeah, we didn't stick around too much longer. I know Ellis Island has a high reputation with being a good value, and people like going there because it's kind of small and fun.
Yeah.
I can't. It's just kind of not for us. I can't really see us going back.
No. Well, it is nice that you can play craps and order something from the bar because you're like
the bar is right there.
Butted up
we got some root beer. Though that root beer was really good. Yeah.
They had very good root beer. Yeah.
And then I wanted to find out what Eric was going to do again for this circuit betting, and so we talked with him. I wanted to get some of the specifics out. I urge everyone to go listen to the latest episode of The Better Life, episode 59, where he talks about it in detail. This AP play, I think it's absolutely fascinating. Everything that he went through to do this, and it's a great story, and it will get you excited too about the Circa Hotel Casino and their sports book and how they're going to cater to sports bettors. So yeah,
which is neat.
Yeah.
It's the old Benny Binion days coming back.
It is a little bit of that when you got Jim Murin on one side, where all he really cares about is the shareholders, and then you've got Derek Stevens who is down on the floor, right?
He's down the floor, and he really cares about the bettors. Yeah. So it's like Benny Binion all over again. I love it.
Yeah. A couple other stories. We did have an issue with the Bally's elevator. These elevators, this is very typical at hotels with a lot of floors. There are generally two sets of elevators, right? One for the lower floors and one for the upper floors.
Just to make it faster. So somebody who's on the top floor doesn't have to stop at 8 lower floors.
So it's not uncommon for people to get on the wrong elevator. So you and I got on this elevator. We were on the 24th floor, and this guy got on with us. And you pressed our button 24, and we asked him what floor he wanted, and he said 7. It's like, it's the wrong elevator.
Yeah,
it
was like 16 and up or something.
Yeah. So you were very nice. You were smart. As soon as he said that, you hit 16, which was the lowest floor on our elevator.
We were already moving.
We were already moving so that he wouldn't have to go all the way up to the 24th floor with us. He could get off on 16 and go down from there. So we get to 16. He gets off. Thank you very much. And the doors close, and we don't move at all. In fact, the elevator kind of shakes a little violently.
It has a little violent shake, yes. Which is like, what the?
And our button's still pressed.
Yeah.
So we pressed it again, 24, nothing. And so it's like, I don't know. And so I finally hit the open button. Luckily, the doors opened.
Yeah, thank God.
And then the guy got back in. It's like, no, we're the same two guys. This is the same elevator you were in.
It hasn't moved.
No, that's okay. That's okay. And so the doors close.
Shaking.
And it doesn't move at all.
Yeah.
And so I say, well, forget this. So I hit the door open button. We get off. And he stays in.
Yeah, and I'm telling him that elevator's not going to move. It's not going anywhere. He's like, that's okay.
And the door's closed on him. There he is. He's just in that elevator that apparently is not working anymore.
And he never moved. We waited for another elevator to come.
Yeah.
It finally did, which is funny. Another elevator came because that one should have just kept opening, right?
Because we were going up.
Yeah, but it didn't open. Another one came. We went up. I don't know. That guy's probably still in that elevator.
He might still be in there. Yeah. So we avoided that elevator the whole rest of the trip.
It was so funny. He looked so confused. Like, well, what do I do now? This is the door that opened.
Come with us if you want to live. No, he stood in the elevator.
Stayed in the elevator. And that thing was shaking pretty good.
Yeah, I was a little concerned.
All I could think of was, thank God the door opened, because had it not,
I know,
we might have been stuck in that elevator.
I was thinking,
imagine how many craps hours we would have lost.
It would have been awful. It would have been like the last trip where I locked myself out of the room.
Right.
One other little story. We did play at Cromwell a bit. And God, I'll tell you, Mike, I don't know about Cromwell anymore.
Yeah, I don't either.
What a shame. It just, I don't know, the atmosphere and some of the dealers.
The dealers were not great.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is with them.
But there was one funny point where you were doing okay and you said, here, make an all tall small bet for everyone on the table and for you, the dealers.
Yeah.
You had like a nickel on each one.
It was
of them
me
there.
and you, and I think there was a gal at the end and her mother. There was like
I was there, right?
There was like 4 on our side, and there was like 1 on the other side.
One on the other,
2.
and the dealers,
Yeah,
so
and the
that was
dealers.
nice. So the roll started, and then you noticed that the guy on the other end was betting the don't.
Right.
So you jokingly said, "Oh, I didn't realize that guy was betting the don't. Take his bet down."
Yeah, take his all tall, all small down.
And so the dealer took that guy's bet and put it on top of their bet.
Yeah, because he couldn't take it down. There had already been a roll. So he just took it and put it on their bet.
And you were just joking.
Yeah.
And we didn't say anything, though.
It didn't hit.
No, it didn't hit. So
It would have been funny if it hit. It would have been a perfect
know.
story. The dealers would have got, they would have had $10 on every number instead of 5.
But anyway, that was basically the trip. We met so many people. We're not even going to try to name everybody because I know we'd leave people out. But just to everybody there, it was great meeting everybody. For the first time, it was great seeing old friends. And, we had another really good trip in Las Vegas. So
Yeah, it worked out pretty good. Yeah. We had a good time coming home, too. The ride was pretty smooth.
Yeah, not too bad. I was trying to get you to leave a little earlier because I didn't want you to lose more.
Yeah, no, you just wanted to go home.
Well, and as it turns out, we did hit a fair amount of traffic coming back.
But we still got home at an early enough time.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Anything else that I'm forgetting from our trip, Mike?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Very good. So our next trip will be probably the summit then in October. So
probably.
That'll probably be both of us. I'm sure you'll be going there before then.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to our voicemail hotline segment. Remember, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up is Scott.
Hey, Mark and Mike. I wanted to give you guys a call. This is Scott from Boston, and ask your opinion about a little debate I've been having with some of my dice shooting friends. It's about the feature bets, fire bet, all tall, small, repeater bet. We've been arguing about which one's the best. I think the fire bet is the classic and the best and my favorite, followed by the all tall, small. And I really don't like the repeater bet. I feel like the great thing about the fire and the all tall, small is everybody's on the same bet. So the whole table, if they're on it, are excited. With the repeater bet, I'm happy about the 4, but you're happy about the 6. It's not the same. But I wonder what you guys think, and I think you're a fan of the all tall, small, Dr. Mike. How do you play it? You put something on every number, just certain numbers? And related question, are there any other feature bets? I mostly play in Vegas, and I only really see those, but are there others in California or other places you play? I guess that's it. Love to hear your opinion. Love the show. Hope you guys have a great time at Vegas Vacation, and we'll see you on the felt.
At the end there, he said all tall, small. I think he meant repeater bet because he was asking what numbers you bet on. But anyway, so I'm not a side bettor. So what do you say, Mike? What do you?
Well,
I
agree. I like the fire bet the best.
Okay,
and here's why: it's one bet. You put your, some places the maximum is 5. You put your $5 out there, and until that shooter's done, you don't have to put any more. Now,
the dealers certainly prefer it because it's much less work
for them, and it doesn't hit as much. So there's that consideration.
Well, see, that's why I thought you might not put that at the top of your list because it really does not hit very often.
It does not hit very often, but I still like it because it's a low bet. I mean, as opposed to the repeater, let's jump right to the repeater where I cover every number.
You do, yes.
And I put $10 on the horn numbers, the 2, 3, 11, 12.
And then 5 on everything else.
And then 5 on everything else. So I have $70 out there.
Yeah.
Guy rolls a 7 on the come out, they all lose.
Yeah.
And then you got to put 70 more bucks.
I mean, nobody's forcing you to put $70
No. Yeah, I understand. I just feel compelled to do it.
Okay. Compelled, yes.
So you're putting more money out there, but it does hit more often.
Sure.
I mean, there's all it
takes is 2 2s to come up.
Right.
And you're good.
Somebody has a good roll and they roll 4 10s or something, you hit that. And, so I do like that it hits more. but you do put a lot more out there. And, more that I think about it, I'm like, oh, God, I wish they had the fire. I put my $10 out there. Or some places like Southern Indiana, you can put $25 or whatever on the fire. It's you just put it out there and then you're done.
Yeah.
Now the all tall, all small is kind of in between those two. So doesn't require as much money, but you do lose on a 7 on the come out. So you have to replace it and stuff. But if you're putting 555, you're putting $15 and it does hit more than the fire bet.
For sure.
A lot more. And, and it's pretty good payout.
Yeah.
So
okay. So fire is your favorite, all tall, small, your second favorite, and then repeater your third. Okay.
And what I've been doing lately on the all tall, small is putting quarters, 25, 25, 25.
Wow.
75. So it's just like $70 on the repeaters.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's basically the same as the repeaters. And if one of them hits,
then it's nice. And I think that's what happened at Bellagio.
That's what happened at Bellagio.
You had 25 on each one.
Yeah, I had 25 on each.
As far as other side bets, as far as Las Vegas goes, those are really the only ones that you see much.
Right.
Now, on a recent episode of the Casinos USA podcast, Jeremy from the Color Up YouTube channel briefly mentioned the Ride the Line side bet at the Saratoga Casino in Black Hawk, Colorado. I thought I'd talk about that just a little bit. The bet will pay if a single shooter makes 3 or more passes before 7ing out.
So you could roll 3 7s and it pays?
Right, yes. So a pass is a natural 7, a natural 11, or making a point. Yeah. And craps on the come out does not affect the bet.
Oh,
so,
okay.
It just keeps going. So you don't lose the bet if craps comes up. It's only after the 7 out that then the payment is made on the bet.
Right.
And there are a ton of different kinds of pay tables, but obviously the more passes the shooter makes, the higher the payout. So that's something. I don't know if we've talked about that bet before, but
don't think
that's
so.
something at least. They're always coming up with other side bets, but those 3 that you mentioned, those are really the ones you see.
Those
in
are
Vegas,
the ones you see the most
these days, and not so much the fire bet anymore unless you go off strip.
Right, right. I'd like it if a casino had, it'd be hard to have the all tall and the repeater, but have a fire bet and the repeater.
Yes, or a fire bet and the all small tall, which we have seen. Not personally, but we've heard about it.
Yeah, that's a nice table. That'd be a good table.
Yeah. All right, next call.
Hi, Mark and Mike. This is Tung. I am a first-time caller. I found your podcast about 3 months ago, and I've binge listened and caught up. So just wanted to give a quick trip report to Harris, Northern California. As everyone has said, it is a small casino, and it does, yes, have one craps table. And they do the cards with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and etc. And the repeater bet. The dealers were very nice, though I had one fresh dealer. He was unable to make the payouts properly, but the boxman was nice enough to really kind of teach him how to do it. However, what I wanted to talk about was the rating. I went on a Wednesday where I got a 2 times multiplier. Now I'm a low roller, but I was there for about 2 hours, and I only got 12 tier points. I'm confused. I was actually the only one at the table. 2 hours of play, 6 tier credits. Have you ever heard of something like that? Love the podcast, and hope to hear from you guys about that. Thank you.
So, you were probably rated wrong. Yeah. That's what it comes down to. That's the
only thing it could be, because you're by yourself on a craps table?
Yeah. And only 12. And just to clarify, too, usually a multiplier refers to your reward credits. Those are the credits you earn that you can actually spend on things.
Right.
So if you earn, say, 12 tier credits, that means you would have gotten 24 reward credits.
Right.
So it's not a multiplier on your tier credits. 24 reward credits is 24 cents. Now, you were probably rated wrong. You might want to go back and bring it up. In fact, we have a call later from Skylar where he did that here at Harris, Southern California, and they were able to go back and look and say, you were rated wrong. We'll give you
there had to be something wrong with that.
Something had to have been wrong.
You get 12 tier credits would be like somebody who came up and made...
Oh, it's just a couple of pulls on the slot machine, right?
Yeah, it'd be like a couple of bets on the craps table. Maybe you're there 10 minutes. That'd be 12 credits.
Yeah. All right, next up is Jana.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Jana from Houston again. And I had gone through every one of y'all's episodes and absolutely have loved every one of them. And I was really jonesing for your next episode. And while I was waiting on it, I was scrolling through the podcast and found Cousin Vito's podcast. Fell in love with him and have been listening to him. But I also had a question. I'm a craps player at heart, and it'll never change. I'll always play craps, but I have always found poker absolutely fascinating. I found the World Poker channel on TV, and I've been just binge watching it. And I really want to learn how to play poker. I get the gist. I've learned a lot of the terminology, but I really want to know the real bones about playing it. How do I go about learning to play poker? Is there any tips you can give me on doing this? I love your show. I will never quit listening, but Vito is absolutely hysterical, and I love listening to him, and I know he's a big poker player too. Anyway, if you can give me any tips on that, that would be awesome. Love your show. Have a great week. Can't wait till the next episode. Talk to y'all later.
Now, I don't think Vito would be considered a big poker player. He plays some poker.
Right.
But now Vinny...
Yeah, Vinny.
He's a big poker player.
Right. That he's
Vito has played poker.
and if you haven't ever met Vito, he's a super, super wonderful person.
Oh, yeah.
My advice, Jana, is you got to go to some meetup where Vito's there and meet him.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
He's nicer in person than he is on the podcast. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he at the same time he's exactly like he is on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
He's not putting on a character like he does with his wrestling. You know, as far as learning how to play poker, we'd recommend a few things. First of all, maybe get a hold of a book or a couple of books. I would recommend Winning Low Limit Hold'em by Lee Jones. It's an older book. You can probably get it pretty cheaply, but it's really for beginners. You know, kind of walks you through limit poker. Also, play some online. Right. You know, that you can play for free money, you know, online. And whereas you might not really learn strategy because everybody's, you know, going like crazy, at least you'll learn the mechanics of the game.
Right. That's a good place to learn the mechanics. Strategy, I don't know.
No.
That's not going to work there.
And then maybe see if you've got some friends that have a home game. Ask around. Maybe some of your friends play poker or friends of friends.
Or have a home game yourself.
There you go.
Right? Invite some people who know poker and kind of, you know, maybe they teach you a little.
Yeah,
maybe
they'll walk you through it. You say, hey, I'll throw some pizza at you or something and, you know, come over and show me how to play. Because really, it's not until you are playing with people live that you really get a sense for what it's like. But again, some books, some online.
Yeah, some of the things are kind of hard to learn by reading.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
You have to actually experience
There's some things where you read it and you don't get the concept until you see it in play. It's like, all right.
Yeah, like
free
pod
card.
odds.
Pod odds, yeah.
Yeah, pod odds. It's kind of hard to explain to somebody until you play. And then
implied
you're like,
odds.
Yeah, implied
most of our players still don't know what implied odds are.
Right.
What? Shut up. I raise. All right, next call.
Hey, Mark, Dr. Pepper. Listen, I heard about your newsletter, and I just was hoping you could give me a call. I'm trying to watch the NBA Finals. I got Spectrum here in Ohio. If you can let me know what channel that'd be on, just give me a call back. All right, thanks.
Okay, so let's see. Spectrum in Ohio.
Mark,
NBA
pull out your...
Okay, I think, that's Channel 5 then, if you want to watch. Well, that's Cleveland. He said Ohio, right? So let me get my thing here. All right, that's Cleveland. If he's in Cincinnati, I think it's 8. Spectrum, he said, right?
Right.
Oh, God. Well, I hope he's... good luck. All right, next call.
I'll tell you what, though. At this current moment...
Yeah.
Toronto is up 76-67.
How is that helpful to anybody listening to this podcast?
Well,
they already know the final score.
He doesn't even know what channel to watch, so that's got to be helpful to him.
All right. You're right. All right, next call.
Hey, Mike and Mark. This is Andrew from Springfield calling. Thought I'd give you a few updates. Firstly, it's Memorial Day weekend here in Springfield, and I went down to MGM yesterday afternoon, probably around 3:30 or so for a few hours on a holiday weekend. Place wasn't that crowded. I've started to play Pai Gow since I last called into you guys, and I've been having fun with that and doing okay. And they've started bubble craps here, which I'm actually very much enjoying, and I've had 3 out of 4 winning sessions there as well. So kudos to MGM for that. So those are the positive things here. Great entertainment scheduled for the summer, but I couldn't believe yesterday when I was down there, it took me an hour to get a drink when there was hardly anybody in the casino. And interestingly, the Pai Gow people in the pit there are so friendly. The dealers and the pit bosses, I've gotten to know them a little bit, and they said that the new casino opening up in Boston, the Encore, has been taking staff and they're losing dealers and staff to Encore. Now, whether they're going to be working at both places or not, I don't know, but it's a little discerning because this place has only been open not even a year, and they're potentially already losing staff, but the dealer was telling us that. So a little bit of concern there, especially with all the hullabaloo going around Wynn and their problems they've had opening. Also wanted to just tell you I went to New Orleans for my son's graduation a week ago, and I ended up at the Harrah's there. I found it to be great, non-smoking property also, plenty of gaming, and I had a really good time. One of the reasons I went down there is because through the tier matching business that someone put out in a podcast, I was able to use my American Express rewards to Hilton, Wyndham, and tier match diamond status at Harrah's, which got me a gold status at MGM here in Springfield. So I'm getting valet parking and a little better perks. But the New Orleans casino I found wonderful, and there's an Acme Oyster House there, which is one of the best places you could eat in the French Quarter, and they have one in the casino, and there's no line, and the food's just as good, FYI. Lastly, I'm taking a trip to Vegas in October, going to see Lady Gaga with my wife, and I've got some comps or perks at MGM properties, and didn't know if you guys had experience with them, which ones you would possibly recommend, and casinos that have the least amount of smoke in them. Thanks, and again, enjoying everything you guys put out. Take care.
We just don't stay at MGM properties simply because we have a Caesars property so close to us and we earn so many points through them.
But where would you stay if you were going to go to an MGM property?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. Maybe Bellagio, just because I've never stayed there.
I was just going to say Bellagio would be, I think, the top of the line. Yeah. And as far as non-smoking, I bet you that's the least smoky of all.
It could be, very high ceilings there.
It's very high ceilings. Mm-hmm. I've never experienced smoke there.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, this reeks. Yeah. No, I'd say Bellagio. Yeah. Without even knowing for certain, I bet you Bellagio is the answer.
That was my first choice too. If we end up going to Biloxi, we should try to make a point to go to Harrah's New Orleans too. Maybe split the trip up into, a couple nights there, a couple nights in Biloxi.
Yeah.
I say that like, we really do it, but we really should because we're getting a lot of good feedback about Harrah's New Orleans.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting then to see between MGM Springfield and Encore, if they battle it out for supremacy there, who comes out victorious, if anyone.
I'll tell you something though, Andrew. At Harrah's Southern California, we have that problem with drinks. Sometimes they're all over us all night, and other nights it's like, God, we've been here an hour
it is
already,
very
and
inconsistent.
Nobody's come by. Yeah. And there's no answer to that. And you think it would be very consistent, like, okay, it's Friday night, we're going to have 10 cocktail waitresses, you do this area, you do this area. I mean, well, how does that...
Doesn't it seem to you that it's very unorganized?
It seems super...
It does when
it seems
I'm there.
Super unorganized.
Yeah.
Well, when I order a lemonade and the cocktail waitress tells me, you can't have one. Her exact words were, you can't have one.
Yeah, and it's not because they don't have lemonade.
Yeah, no. She looked at me, you can't have one. And I said, I can't have a lemonade? And she said, no, because I have to go over there to get it, and I can't go over there. They told me not to go over there. I have to go back there, and there's no lemonade back there. And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah. And I'm, okay. And then she didn't say, can I get you something else? She just walked away. And the stick man and the dealer and the pit boss who happened to be standing behind the thing, they were all just standing there with their mouths wide open. And they're like, did she just say you couldn't have anything? And I'm like, yeah. And the pit guy's like, oh, Mike, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll go get you one. He went and got me a lemonade. He left the table to get me a lemonade. His name's Daniel. And it's like, yeah, I was stunned. I was like, I can't have a lemonade.
You'd think it would be a little bit better, especially since the liquor's not free. Alcohol's not free.
Right.
So mostly it's just soft drinks that they're bringing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they're bringing alcohol. You got to pay for it.
Yeah, but I doubt that they're bringing as many.
No, I imagine most people are getting like a lot of people at the craps table that I know around me, they get lemonades. And right, I'm like, I had one night and I thought, oh, that lemonade's pretty good.
All right, next up is Nick.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. I'm just calling to talk about my trip recently to Canada. So myself and my girlfriend went there for a day trip. The one thing that I want to talk about is if you give the casino American dollars, what ends up happening is you get the 130 Canadian dollars. But the only way to get your American dollars back is if you give the casino $130 of Canadian money back. So basically it's a contract deal or you can only ever get back the money that you put in. And if you try to give them less, say you try to give them 100 Canadian dollars to get some American money back, they won't do it. So you'll have to go to some exchange place. It ended up messing me up because I got down and then I got back up, but I didn't get up to the 200 that I initially bought in for, and I was trying to get back up to that 200 and ended up losing everything. So I just wanted to get your opinion on that. Maybe is that because they want people to do what I did and just be lazy and not go to an exchange? And then I got one other thing that I want to talk about as well was at Mohegan Sun, they have the blackjack stadium style. One of the main differences that it has compared to the Canadian casino that we went to and other casinos that I've been to, you get your 2 cards and the dealer gets 1 card. And then the next card that you get, or if you choose not to hit, then the next community card goes to the dealer. So basically, if you're at a hard 16 and the dealer's showing 10, if like a 5 was to come up as the next community card and you didn't take the hit, the dealer would then have 15. I'm wondering what is the casino advantage on this, and also how would the strategy change? So I was just wondering if there would be a difference in the way you approach it when the dealer really only gets 1 card and then gets the community card if you decide not to take the hit. Love the show. Just started listening about a month ago and started from the beginning, and I'm already almost to 2018, so hopefully I'll catch up soon. All right, bye.
So yeah, at Stadium Blackjack, there are some places where the dealer does get a whole card before the community cards come out.
As in regular blackjack.
Right, and this is a situation where apparently that's not the case. I imagine if somebody really ran an analysis on the game, they might find some little differences between that and a regular blackjack game, but I'm guessing it would not be much different from basic strategy. No. I'm guessing the strategy is going to be virtually the same, if not exactly the same.
I would venture to say without doing any math that it's virtually the same.
Yeah. Now, as far as the house edge goes, that's not going to be any different from a regular blackjack game.
No, that's going to be the same.
Yeah, that'll be the same. So keep doing your regular basic strategy. It is interesting to hear that story about the Canadian exchange. So
now, I think he's 100% dead right.
It could be correct,
I think Nick hit it on the button.
Yeah.
They want you to chase. So it's like you got 130. You have to have 130 to cash out. If you have 100, you're more likely to I'll play a few more hands and try and get to my 130, right? Mm-hmm. And then you probably end up losing more.
Maybe, but what if they did it the other way around? What if, you bought in, they gave you 130 in Canadian, and that's the most you could convert back to American dollars, and then the rest of it had to be Canadian. Wouldn't that get you back to the tables too?
Yeah, that might get you too. You'd take the Canadian home and exchange it at home.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, that's
when you go to an exchange center, though. If you go somewhere like the airport, they charge you.
Yeah, it really will depend.
You'd have to go to your bank, and even there, they may charge you.
And it could be the case too where you're going to get a better deal at the casino than a regular exchange. Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, Nick might be right.
I hate to even say this, but I have my cousin's son is getting married this weekend in Australia.
Okay.
So we're sending him a gift, right? We're just going to send him some money.
Okay, sure.
And the last time one of her children got married, I went to the bank and got Australian dollars and mailed them Australian dollars because they won't cash an American check there. It's kind of a hassle.
Okay.
So I sent Australian dollars, but it cost me money.
To send it. You couldn't wire it? You couldn't?
Well, I probably could, but I just went to the Bank of America in the same parking lot as my office.
Okay.
And I got $500 Australian.
Okay.
Which was 400 and something American.
Mm-hmm, right.
Anyway, I got that, but there's a fee for them giving me Australian money.
Mm-hmm. On top of the
exchange rate.
Yeah.
So this time, and I hate to say this, it sounds terrible, I'm sending them American dollars. They can go to their bank and convert it, and they'll get less money.
Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe. I don't know how that's going to work. But I'm like, that was too big a hassle. I'm way too lazy.
Them do with it.
Yeah, they can take the American.
They've got nothing else to do. They're just getting married.
They're newlyweds.
They got nothing
to do.
All right, on our last episode, our last call, Mikey G was on his way to the Q Casino in Dubuque. So let's hear from him.
Hello, Dr. Mike, and let's go with Marky D.
Ooh.
This is Mikey G calling from Milwaukee with a post-trip report from our recent visit to Q Casino in Dubuque, Iowa to celebrate my dad's birthday. Dad had a great time despite not having much luck gambling, but he was in a casino for his birthday and his son kept buying him beers. So what could be better? Funny thing about the start of our trip, we stopped off for breakfast at about our halfway point, and mid-sip of his orange juice, Dad goes, shoot, I forgot something. I said, what, Dad? He said, I forgot my cooler full of beer and ice for the hotel. I laughed because my dad loves his beer. He's more likely to forget his luggage than his beer. So after a quick pit stop to pick up a case, we were back on track. Now, Q Casino has a Hilton Garden Inn attached to the property, so we stay there, and it was very nice and friendly. And on my last call, I mentioned the live Greyhound racing and how we were going to place a small wager on any dog that had Mark, Mike, or Doctor in its name. So the first night, we got our spot right at the finish line, and I started going through the program, race by race. 15 races in total, 8 Greyhounds per race, and out of the 120 Greyhounds, there was only one that met the name criteria. I, Mark Ducati, in race 11. So we placed $2 across the board, win, play, show, and went on to do our normal wagering until race 7 started. Our Greyhound wagering on the first day went pretty good. Dad and I actually came up about $200 total, $100 a piece, so not a bad start to the trip. But let's talk about this 11th race and the number 5 dog, I, Mark Ducati. Right before the race started, I, Mark came on the track, and he looked somewhat uninterested. In fact, I think I saw him doing a Sudoku as he was waiting for the race to start.
It makes sense. I would too.
My dad and I checked the current race odds, and wouldn't you know it, I, Mark was the long shot at 24-1.
Nice.
Shaking our heads, the race started, and I, Mark didn't have a great start. But during the crucial first turn, a number of Greyhounds bunched up and collided a little, allowing I, Mark to have a clear path. And wouldn't you know it, he took full advantage. He started running hard, really hard, like he was just given a Red Bull or perhaps a Mountain Dew from a good friend. Now, coming down the final stretch, he was neck and neck with the favorite. And as they crossed the finish line, it was too close to call. We indeed had a photo finish. I sat there finishing my beer and yelled, yeah! The official results were revealed, and it was I, Mark by a nose. The long shot paid $51.20 to win, and a total of $68.20 on a $6 wager. So as promised, we'll make a PayPal donation to the show, and I'm probably running out of time here, so I'll call back with the rest of the trip report as far as our round of golf, the casino, and a big roll on the craps table. Take care. Mikey G out.
Nice.
Thanks, Mikey. And we did get that PayPal donation. All right. You know, that's the thing about
funny.
those Greyhound races.
Yeah,
there's a lot more contact.
There is a lot of bumping.
In a, because they don't have jockeys.
Right.
So,
well, and the stewards don't care. They just let them race. It's not like the Kentucky Derby. The stewards in horse racing, they could watch things. In dog racing, let them go.
so you do see that a lot where maybe there's a dog that's really towards the back, but then a couple, get tangled up and then
they fly off the track. I mean, they literally just go sideways, and the back guy comes in and wins. Yeah.
So thanks, Mike. Yeah, we'll hear from him again later in the show. All right, next up is Alex.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Alex from Atlanta, Georgia. Calling just to let y'all know I've come back from my trip to Atlantis. We were out there with my wife and I from Thursday to Sunday and had a pretty good time. Didn't win overall, but had a good time, so that's the most important part. My tip is to definitely get a player's card, even though they're their own independent casino, and it actually saves us a lot of money. I would tell any listener, if you go out there, definitely do not pay anything that you do, like that you eat or any activity. For example, my wife and I, we ate and we got massages, and you can charge it to the room with your room card. And the night before we came back, we went to guest services and asked them if we had any comps. And they said, yeah, you got comps. We'll give you, $100 slot play, which, wasn't very exciting for us. But I asked, if anything would come off the rooms or charges. And he took every single charge that we had off, except, the gratuities and taxes, which was over $1,000 in expenses. So all the food and the massages came off. The rooms we already had free through the Caesars Total Rewards. Being a Diamond member, we got the rooms free. So that's just a little tip for any listener. If you guys go out there, definitely get a player's card and just charge your expenses to the room, and then hopefully the casino can take them off if you put in enough time at the casino while you're there. The other comment I had is I play craps and blackjack, but mostly craps, and they don't have any of the all tall small, any of the fire bets or the repeaters, so that's kind of a bummer since it adds a little bit more excitement to the game. The question I had is, what would you do, or what do you do generally when a dealer overpays you? I was enjoying the crew, having a good time, and the dealer ended up paying me or overpaying me like by $100, $90, $100. And, I just pointed it out. I said, hey, you overpaid me on this one. And the guy next to me kind of gave me a look like, are you crazy? So,
He got cut off there. Our philosophy is when it comes to casinos, when it comes to dealers, if they overpay you, just take it. Don't say anything. It's up to the casino and the dealer to make the correct payments. We've said in the past that we don't take this philosophy to other parts of our lives.
Right.
If we're in a drive-through and they give us back too much change, we'll say, oh, you gave me too much. So we will call attention. But the casinos, maybe because, it's us against them, we're battling for the money.
Right.
And again, it depends on what your ethics are, what your morals are, and how you feel about it. It's entirely up to you. But when it comes to overpayments, we take it. Yeah. So
I mean, most of the time it's, $5.
Yeah, it's just here and there.
$10
right.
or something.
Yeah.
It's nothing major, and it's just easier just to take it sometimes.
And if you need to rationalize it, you can just think, well, the dealer might get in trouble if I point it out. So that's a good way.
That's always a good thing to think. I don't want to get anyone in trouble here.
Right, exactly.
I'll just take this pink chip instead of the blue one that I'm supposed to be getting.
Well, again, it's always good advice to get a Players Club card and to be rated when you play. And don't be afraid at the end. Again, ask a host, hey, is there anything you can take off the bill? Here was this big surprise for Alex, and, he wasn't expecting it at all. So,
and you know what it is? All you got to do is ask.
That's all you got to do.
You know
is
what
ask.
that host is thinking? I comp this off. It's really nothing to us. Food and, the massage and whatever. And this guy comes back.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
This guy comes back and he's a gambler. He played X hours, maybe he won this time, but next time he might not, So it's to their advantage to comp stuff off.
And they may not comp everything. They may say, well, based on your play, I can take $40 off your bill. Hey, it's $40.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
And actually, I think if you approach it in a nice way,
that's a big part of it too.
They'll
Sure.
even take more. Don't demand or anything. Just, I'm just curious. Can you do anything for me?
Yep. Yeah. All right. Next call.
Hey guys, listener Daniel from Louisville, Kentucky. I just have a quick hypothetical question for you guys. I was wondering how each of you would play craps if you go to a table that's 100 times odds with a $2,000 buy-in. What would your betting strategy be, and how would each of you play? Because I know you guys both play very differently from one another. So just curious. I'd love to get your thoughts. Thanks. Bye.
I laughed when we got this call because I'm thinking, well, Mike, that's a real low buy-in for you.
That's going to be...
That's tying your hands.
The buy-in's going to be the problem. I'll tell you what, though. With only $2,000, you got a $2,000 buy-in.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what the minimum is.
Well, see, that's the other thing. What's the minimum on the table?
Let's just say it's $5.
Okay, all right.
Okay, because maybe you're there early in the morning and it's a $5 table.
Yeah.
You bet the minimum on the line and start off with $100 odds.
Okay.
So whatever the number is, take $100 odds. So, $5 with 100, make a $5 comeback, take 100, make another $5 comeback, take 100. Okay. If something hits, increase your odds.
Okay.
So I wouldn't take anything down.
Yeah. All right.
So let's say you say your first comeback was a 5. So you went 5 with 100 odds, and the next roll happened to be a 5. I would just say, okay, now give me 200 odds. And that's what I would do.
I think what I would do, something similar, but not as much money. I would make $5 pass line and $5 come bets with just 10 times odds. So I'd just put $50 back there. Yeah. I'd probably go up to 2 come bets, maybe 3 come bets, and then just let that go for a while, because you've got $55 on all those numbers. I'd try to collect for a little bit, because a quick 7 out, boom, you're out. $150.
Here's what you really do.
All right, sir.
You buy in for $5,000. You put 5 on the line. Whatever your point is, you put 200 odds, and then you make put bets. The 6 and 8
if they let you.
Yeah, for 5.
Which they do at Cromwell.
Right, for 5 and 200 on each of those. This is what I was doing exactly.
Yeah, it sure was. 5
with 200 on each of them, and then I made a $5 come bet. So if the next roll is a 5, then it would go up to 5. I'd put 200 on it, and every time I had a $5 come bet. Yeah. And if something hit, I went to $300 odds, and if it hit again, I went to 400.
It's kind of like pressing place bets, but you're using the odds. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. All right, next call.
Hey there, Mark and Dr. Pepper. Calling you back. Thanks a lot for getting back to me about where the Warriors game was going to be. Missed it. I'm still waiting. Hopefully you'll get back to me so I can watch the game tonight. Oh, by the way, Dr. Whatever your name is, Dr. Seuss, great call on the Bucks, man. That was, woo, yeah. Thanks. I lost a lot of money. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you got to fade Dr. Mike. We all know that.
Yeah, did I say they were going to win? I just said I was betting on them.
If they went to the finals, you were going to bet on them, right?
Yeah, I think that's what I was going to do. If they made it to the finals, I was going to put a big bet on them.
What I would recommend to the listener, too, is just turn to ESPN if you happen to know what that channel is, because I don't think I can help you. I'm like the pit at Atlantic City where they couldn't even
Let me help him out. This is game number
This is
game number 3.
It's not like people are listening to this live. People already know the results of game number 3.
Currently, it's 96-88 Toronto.
Let's hear from Steve.
Make that 189.
Hey, Dr. Mike and Mark. This is Steve DeStefani from Charlotte, North Carolina. Had the pleasure of being your welcoming committee at the Cromwell on Sunday. Planet Hollywood on Sunday. And it was great seeing you guys. I wish I could have stayed and played with you longer. Did want to apologize for my surprise attack in the restroom at the Cromwell. Anyway, I hope y'all's luck continued on. I had a great time, had 3 hand pays playing slots, but really kind of wanted to spend more time with you guys. But I did have my daughter out there for her 21st birthday, which was really fun, as well as my girlfriend. And anyway, thank you so much for your podcast. Love hearing it, and it was great to meet you in person. Take care.
Yeah, nice to meet you too, Steve. Yeah, he was part of that big group that we saw at Planet Hollywood.
Yeah, I
when
think he was the first one.
He might have been the very first one.
Very first one, yeah.
Yep. And congratulations, some hand pays on. That's always nice to get on the slots. Yeah,
hand pays. Love them.
All right, next call is from Andy. The audio in the middle gets a little messed up, so just FYI.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Andy from Central Texas. Quick trick report. Just got back from Denver, Colorado. Went up there for a wedding. Made a quick trip out for Sunday night out to Ameristar, about 30 minutes from Denver. Had a couple of people who had never been to a casino before. Got on the craps table. Great dealers. Great action. Of course, we did pretty well because you know how it goes. People that never played before are always going to win. Got 1 point shy of hitting the all tall, all small, or hit them all, I guess. 7 out, had the 3 left. But yeah, other than that, it was a great little trip out there. Went out there for about 6 or 7 hours. Made a decent amount of money. One weird thing, like a checkpoint when you're going into the, but all of us were over 21 going in. It's 21 is the minimum age in Colorado. Except my brother-in-law, he was just kind of excited to just be in the casino. Was going to kind of watch. So they're checking IDs and everything at the door, and he just walked straight on in. Nobody stopped him. He's a little taller than your average bear, but nobody stopped him, so he was able to kind of jump on a table. And don't know if I'm breaking any laws by telling y'all that, but he had a great time. It was a great trip. Dealers were amazing. Very highly recommended. Place was clean. It was a Sunday night, so pretty good amount of open tables. Played a little bit of blackjack as well. Dealer took me for a pretty good ride there. But overall, great experience out there at Ameristar. Would highly recommend it anytime you're out there. So, love the show. You guys are amazing, and keep it up. Thanks.
Yeah, so it just sounds like his brother-in-law was underage, but was able to go in and play a little bit.
Nice.
America's youth.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
We're training him right. It sounds like he's off to a great start.
Yeah, get him up to the craps table, especially. Good job. All right, well, we finally met Mississippi Rob on this last trip. Let's hear from him.
Yeah, that was very nice.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, this is Mississippi Rob, just giving you a call after the trip to Vegas. It was really great meeting both of y'all and getting to play craps a few times with you, especially Dr. Mike's role at the Cow. Really appreciate that. Especially, I know my children will really appreciate all the donations I'll be making to them here shortly in the future. Thanks for that. So I've got one question, something that happened with my wife while she was playing at the Link over the weekend. So we went over there to check out the stadium gaming setup, and she likes to play roulette, so she was playing some roulette while I was playing craps and baccarat and a few other little things for some low minimums. And during one of her turns, the ball landed on the 3 spot, which my wife always bets. However, it didn't actually register on her machine, so she had to wait, press the button. The roulette wheel kept spinning, but her machine had locked up, so she waited for an attendant to come by. They came back. They said, it was a malfunction, so it doesn't pay, so she got her money back. Well, after the attendant left, my wife actually went over and talked to a couple other guys that happened the same thing, and coincidentally, they had bet the 3 spot too, and even more money than she had on it. But somebody they were playing with who didn't bet the 3, they got to keep playing, no malfunction whatsoever. So essentially what happened is everybody in the whole stadium gaming group there that bet the 3, which is what the ball landed on, conveniently malfunctioned after the ball had landed. And so the only malfunction was the payout, not the bet setting its place and not the bet result, but just the payout. So do you think this is worth putting in some kind of complaint or putting some kind of question into gaming for it? Just wanted to see y'all's opinion. Thanks again. Appreciate everything y'all do. Bye.
Yeah, well, at this point, there's no point in going to gaming. It's it's been too long. You need to see something that was happening over and over. Were there other times where it landed in 3 and everything worked out fine? People got paid.
Right.
If that's the case, maybe it really was some weird kind of malfunction. But if it's something chronic and it's affecting a lot of people, then you all say, hey, we're calling gaming. Why is this always happening? So it's too hard to tell. It might have really been a malfunction.
Yeah, well, it's a machine.
Yeah, right.
Right? I mean, seriously, when there's a ball and a person spins the ball and it lands, everyone sees it's in 3.
Well, I think it really still is a person spinning the ball. I think it's really a real roulette wheel. The problem is, does it register with the machines?
The machine.
Yeah.
So, I mean, malfunctions happen to machines. That's why I don't like them. That's why I seriously do not like machines. The only machine I ever really liked is those old Coca-Cola machines.
Where you had to pull the bottle out?
You had to pull the bottle out.
Yes.
Oh, when I was a kid, you put the money in and then you open that little door and you pull your bottle out. That was great.
That was great. And you'd scrape your fingers on the bottle cap, right? It'd be all bloody.
You
have your
got
Coke.
a little bottle cap thing.
Oh, that little opener right on the machine.
Right on the machine. Yeah, I'd love that. They should go back to that. That's what's wrong with youth. You were asking about what's wrong with youth. They don't get that experience now.
We're old.
They drink a virtual Coke.
We're so old.
They use their iPad, and I'll have a virtual Coke. Clunk, and you feel, that was nice.
All right, here's Skylar.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Skylar. I called a few weeks ago. I was talking about my visit at Harris, Southern California. First time playing cards craps, and fairly enjoyed it. I mean, that carpet needs some new work. I'm just kidding. I know you guys talked about the carpet on a few episodes, how weird it is, how they installed that. It kind of looks older than the previous carpet, what I've heard.
I'm stopping it here because just today we were talking about that horrible carpet.
We were there this afternoon, and the carpet, I'm walking and I'm
it's
pointing to
brand new.
Look at this. And there's just big spots where obviously somebody spilled Coke or coffee or something. It's like, oh my God, it's terrible.
It's too light.
Yeah.
It just retains every spill and every little dirty thing.
Yeah.
Somebody must be tearing their hair out or got fired because it's worse than the old dirtier carpet.
Right. They just left the old dirty carpet in there. It looked better. Yeah. It's so crazy.
All right.
Seriously. Now I wonder what happens. I mean, I wonder if somebody's like, well, who the hell thought of this?
Yeah. I don't know.
And I mean, fire them or what? It's ridiculous.
It was a huge project.
Yeah.
Imagine. I mean, a casino, you're replacing the carpet.
They're not going to change it anytime soon because that took a month.
It must have been so expensive.
Yeah, that took a month.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
All right.
But I want to give you an update. I talked to the pit boss about not being, rated the last time I was there. Maybe I was moved in a different slot. But he said, don't worry, I'll handle it. And I was like, oh, okay. Later on, I gambled for about 4 hours. That's the longest crap session I've actually registered. I've never played 4 hours straight. It was a tug-of-war battle. I bought in for about $450, dropped down all the way to $100, and I was kind of down on my luck. Then I did something I'd never do. I played the field pretty much with the $100 back and forth, betting a $15 minimum table, so 15. But this elderly woman next to me just kept hitting every field number I can even imagine. And she was just on a heater. She rolled for about an hour and 15 minutes, and I bounced back. I actually cashed out around $600. So either way, it was great. And the dealers are always so awesome, take really good care of me. I plan on becoming a regular, coming about 2 times a month. I wish I could come on Fridays, but unfortunately, social work life, I can't do that. Saturdays might be my night. But I'll see if there's ever a Friday I get off. I would love to come down and meet you guys. Be awesome to gamble with Dr. Mike, especially to get those free well drinks. I'm just kidding. But
no, he'll buy you one.
Great to gamble with you guys. But another update. So the pit boss came back and made sure I got rated. He even asked me, are these the bets you made? And man, those cameras don't lie. They had everything detailed from my last visit. That was even like a month ago. And I got my rating. So I'm pretty stoked. And I tipped really big because I tipped about $25 for a 4-hour session. I don't know if that's big or not. For me, it's a lot. I just wanted to make sure I tipped the dealers and let the pit boss know that I had a really good time, and thanks for rating me. I'm also going to Vegas this Thursday, so I'll be in Vegas from the 6th through the 10th. I'm actually staying at Caesars. I've never actually stayed there, but I'm usually gambling at the Flamingo. But I'm looking forward to it, and wish the best. Have a good one.
Good. So a good story, happy ending.
Yeah, and hey, Skylar, we're going to be at Harris, Southern California on the last Saturday of this month.
Right, June. So whatever that last Saturday is.
29th,
Let me look real quick.
It's their $1 million giveaway. So at 11 o'clock that night, somebody's going to win $1 million.
No.
Oh, no, they changed that.
Yeah.
It's $100,000 every hour.
Yes, for 10 hours.
For 10 hours.
Right. So,
right.
and that's better. Everybody likes that better. Yeah, June 29th, we're going to be there. That's a Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, $100,000. I think I will be there most of the day.
Good. Yeah. It'd be, you win a lot of those hourly drawings.
Yes.
Just for like $1,000.
Right.
By now, you're due.
I am due for the 100,000.
Yeah.
That would be a sweet win.
Yeah. And good luck on your trip here coming up, Skylar, in Vegas. Yeah. All right, next up is Uncle G.
Hello, gentlemen. This is Uncle G calling in from the East Coast. I have a special trip report. It's from the casino that's probably furthest away from San Diego while still being in the continental U.S. And that casino is the Oxford Casino in Oxford, Maine. I was there this past weekend, and this casino is in the middle of nowhere. It's roughly an hour northwest of Portland, in the middle of nowhere, way off the highway, and it's not on tribal land. So I couldn't figure out why somebody would choose to build a casino there, but I had a great experience, so I'm going to share with you guys some of the pros and cons. So again, one of the biggest pros we're seeing with some of the newer casinos like MGM Springfield is that they're smoke-free. And certainly I don't have a problem with people's right to smoke, but to be able to play for hours and not have to worry about smoke changes the whole game. You don't smell like smoke when you leave. And I swear it leads to less maybe headaches or like a kind of a feel like a casino hangover from not having to inhale that smoke. So it's smoke free. They have $5 craps that run 7 days a week with 3, 4, 5 odds. They also have $5 blackjack that pays 3 to 2. There was only one $5 table, but there was a bunch of $10 tables. Every table on the place pays 3-2. So that's great news. Some of the drawbacks compared to some of our other casinos in New England are there's no free drinks, there's no tier match at all, and the food was pretty expensive. It's a bowling alley type food court, if you will. But even a burger, I think, was like $13. So food was pretty expensive. Overall, great experience, free parking, easy in, easy out, just a nice, clean place, a good experience, nice place. I wish I had it in my backyard. And I was cashing my massive $40 win out from the craps table, waiting in line at the cashier, and then I was chatting with another patron who said, "Isn't this place great?" And I said, "It sure is." And she said, "We don't go to Vegas anymore." She goes, "Oxford is close to us." She goes, "Now we have MGM Springfield. We have the 2 great casinos in Connecticut." She says, "Why would I go to Vegas? Pay for the flight, pay for parking, and deal with 6-5 blackjack." And I've got to say, I feel the same way. These new casinos popping up are really, really great for the consumer. So that's our trip report. And one more thing, Mark. I saved the chip from the Oxford Casino in Oxford, Maine. If you'd like it, I'll be glad to mail it to you. Just send me the word, my friend. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, nice. Send it along. Uncle G actually already sent us a chip this last week. He was helping a friend clean out her house, and he came across a 50-cent chip from the Concord Casino in Aruba, which closed in 1989. So this chip had just been sitting around
from
this friend's house.
Aruba to Maine.
Yeah, right. So thanks again for that chip too, Uncle G. Yeah, appreciate it. Add it to the collection.
Nice. I wouldn't have gashed out the $40 if I was him.
No,
I would just bought 3 hamburgers.
13 bucks.
13 bucks. Buy 3 hamburgers. You go home so happy. I mean, a little nauseous, but you're happy.
Well, you don't have to eat them right away. You can save them. Boy, that third hamburger on that third day, yum.
Hey, I learned today something that changed my life.
All right, what?
I can get pepper jack cheese on my hamburger at Smashburger at Harris, Southern California.
So a lot of times Mike will just say no cheese because he doesn't like American cheese.
I don't care for American cheese.
It never has occurred to him that he could ask for a different cheese.
And the lady today, I don't know her name, but she cracks me up.
Yeah, she just talks a mile a minute.
I've never seen anyone talk so fast in my life. And she's super nice.
Very nice.
Very nice, super friendly, remembers our names, but she talks so fast.
So fast.
I get about every third word. Yep. And somehow I figured out she was saying, well, you can have another kind of cheese. You don't have to have American. And I'm like, really? And she listed them all off. Pepper jack was one of them. I got pepper jack cheese, had the best smash burger I've ever had.
Nice. That's a good.
So from now on, I know the clue. Just ask for something else.
Mike got a happy ending too. All right. Speaking of happy endings, here's our last call. We're hearing again from Mikey G.
Hey guys, Mikey G back with the rest of the Q Casino trip report. Yeah, I want to tell you about a big roll on the craps table. But first, a quick review of the casino. Food around the casino was so-so. Basic bar food, mostly, nothing too special. The casino itself does lack some atmosphere, as the overhead speakers didn't seem to work everywhere on the floor, so there wasn't that consistent music keeping a good vibe going. But the bar staff was very personable and nice, and they always had a cold beer ready, so that's always a plus. The casino has plenty of slots, video poker, a good variety of table games, all with low limits. It does only have one craps table, and at all times during the trip, it was a $5 table with 20 times odds, which was great for a player like me. The side bet is actually the sharpshooter side bet, which I'm sure you guys can speak more to if you want. But basically, it starts to pay out after a shooter rolls 3 points, with a max payout at 10 points or more, which pays, I believe, $300 for one. The cruise were really fun both days, and as I took care of them, they took care of me. Shout outs to Derek, Nate, Reggie, Freddie, and of course Joni. Joni and I got along real good. In fact, she almost joined me back at the hotel pool after a shift one night, but we both agreed that it would be best if we just kept our relationship strictly professional. As for the dice, it was a tough 2 days, but there were some highlights. Shooter Austin rolled back-to-back hard 10s for me when I had it up to $60 for me and 10 for the dealers, so that was sweet. Also, Shooter Nicole rolled several points and a bunch of hard ways as well, which was nice. As for the big roll I mentioned, sadly, it occurred when I stepped away from the table to go check on Dad. I left for about 30 minutes one night, and the next shooter proceeded to roll a 7-point sharpshooter. Upon my return, all the dealers were telling me what I'd missed, so for the best roll of the trip, I wasn't even a part of it. I guess that's just the way it goes sometimes. Take care, guys. As always, love the show. Mikey G, out.
Well, the good thing is they had that case of beer back in the room.
Yeah, that's one good thing.
So, I mean, if you miss out and you've got a room full of a case of beer, you're all right.
It sounds like he just pulled a Dr. Mike.
Yeah,
went to check on his dad and then missed a big roll.
I'm trying to put a positive spin on this with the beer.
Yeah, we've seen that before.
Yeah, that's happened.
Yeah, the sharpshooter bet. So it's like the ride the line bet that we talked about earlier, except the sharpshooter only pays based on the number of points a shooter has made.
Right.
So you don't get credit for natural 7s and 11s. It's only points.
But they don't have to be unique.
They don't have to be unique. So it's like in between the ride the line and the fire bet, right? Where the points do have to be unique.
Now, out here at Barona Casino near us, they have the fire bet and they have the sharpshooter.
That's correct.
So it's great when you bet them both, and if somebody makes 4 points, but they're all 6s, you still win on the sharpshooter. You just don't win your fire bet.
Yeah,
and it's kind of nice. I like that sharpshooter because 3 points you see, fairly often.
Yeah, we'd go out there more if we actually liked the crew at
if the crew was better, and if they were more engaging, and
if we got better comps,
and if we got some comps.
Yeah. Well, the Belmont Stakes is coming up this weekend, so good luck to everybody there. Maybe I can pick a winner this time too. Oh, and also the World Cup, the Women's World Cup starts Friday.
Right.
And the USA looks great. The last 2 matches, they just dominated.
And they're going for their 4th World Cup championship.
They're the favorites right now. Last I looked, they were 3-1 favorites. So, good luck to everybody who might be betting on that or just watching it. So, I'm going to be going to a meetup my sisters put together on Father's Day in the morning to go see their match. So.
Oh, there's a Father's Day game?
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, Kurt for his recurring donation. Thanks very much. Also, a donation from Margaret. She says, love the show. Hope we can meet one day and shoot craps. Yeah, I'd like that. Also from Mikey G, the aforementioned wager that paid off on the Greyhounds. Thanks again, Mikey. Also from Tim, he says, it was great to meet you guys just before 360 Vegas vacation and talking Chargers with you guys. I hope to get to play some craps with you guys next time. Great podcast. Yeah, Tim was another one that we met at that initial meetup.
Right. I thought he played a little while with us.
He might have, but you guys were talking Chargers, and I was just kind of the who.
Yeah.
Not sure who you're talking about at this point.
Hey, anybody comes up wearing a Charger, they're my best friend.
All right. And finally, a donation from Justin. He says, hi, guys. Here's a karma donation for a Vegas trip coming up at the end of June. Thank you for the time and effort that you put into the podcast. Well, good luck, Justin, on your trip. Yeah.
Win big.
Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We love getting your feedback. Dr. Mike, what do you got?
I'm just so happy, Mark. I mean, today I realized I put all that money down on the Dodgers, and they're actually going to do it. They're going to win the World Series this year. They're going to win the division, the pennant, and then the World Series.
So longtime listeners will realize what Mike is doing here, and it doesn't seem to be helping because the Padres are on a bit of a slide.
Yeah, why would it be the year that I impose the curse of Dr. Mike on the Dodgers, and they can't lose?
I know, they're so
they
hot
just
right
they
now.
actually lost today. I shouldn't say they can't lose, but they had won 7 games before that in a row, and it seems like best record in major leagues, right? And they're a great team. I don't know what's going on. I don't like it.
Well, everything else in your life is looking up. You're going to get cheese on your cheeseburgers more often now.
Right, yeah.
You're going to be going to the casino sometime. I don't know.
Sometime in the future, I'll be there, I'm sure.
Yeah, so things are looking up.
Everything's coming up roses for us, Mark. We didn't get devastated in Vegas.
No, we both lost, but it wasn't too bad.
No.
Oh, no, I hardly lost at all.
Yeah.
In fact, I was looking. I tipped as much as I lost.
Yeah, that's nice. That's good. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
It'd be better if you won as much as you tipped.
That would have been a little better. Maybe next time.
But that's not bad.
Yeah.
So we're doing well.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Good night.
Mark, that was wonderful. I had no idea you were so talented. The audience is going to love you.